It is finally happening. Lilith has listened to all of our prayers, and they are releasing a brand new Commander Swap event that will work for you and me in early and late game Rise of Kingdoms. Stick around to learn more. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms gameplay video from your very own Shappy Gaming. And today we are going to be talking about the amazing news that just came out from Lilith about commander resets / swaps that's going to be launching very, very soon. And I'm not going to say that I called it, but if you've been a member of the channel for a little while, you might remember this. One of the things that Age of Empires has, which is a huge quality of life change, is this, a hero reset event. This has come up a few times now. And as you all know, I have been a huge advocate of getting a hero reset in Rise of Kingdoms. And sure, maybe I have a horse in the race. I max Gilgamesh, I max Flavius, I use neither of them. But in all of the comments that I've gotten on that video and previous videos and streams where I've talked about this, everyone has said, Shappy, it's not going to happen. And if it does, it's just going to be restricted to some of the early game. And I'm really pleased to see that Lilith is listening and they are giving us old players who played this game for way too long a chance to finally get things right. Now, I did watch another YouTube video on this, and he talked about all sorts of other stuff, but I'm going to try and keep this one short for you guys so you can understand exactly what's coming, what this means for you, which commanders you probably want to refund, and what I think the red tape is going to be for this event. So first things first, this is the verbatim from them. A goose shared it, so you know it's legit. The question is, will there still be the commander swap mentioned at the offline meetup? If so, when will it go live? First off, I didn't even know that this was mentioned. I'm so glad that it is. And confirmed, our plan for this event has been finalized. It'll be launched in a future version. Rather than adding a direct commander reset event, we'll be granting each participating governor 2 commander swaps at a certain cost. Each swap allows you to choose 2 commanders with some exceptions and swap their levels, skill levels, and star levels. Now, it's very important that you keep this in mind because it's not a direct refund, which is going to make a difference for you when it comes to how you handle this. To help new players catch up on developing their commanders before entering Season of Conquest, we plan to launch this event in New Kingdoms around the end of Season 2 of The Lost Kingdom. This is very similar to the Hero Reset event we actually have in Rise of Kingdoms today. I'll flash an image up on the top right for you. But I think they're actually planning on swapping that with this, which totally makes sense. In addition, we'll be introducing other events to help acquire Season of Conquest commanders. For kingdoms entering Season 3 or later, we plan on launching a one-time event in January of 2025. Once the specific launch schedule and event details are confirmed, we'll notify you through the community and in-game announcements. Now, the other YouTuber I watch had a hot take that it wasn't going to be the same exact event for Old Kingdoms as well as New Kingdoms. I actually think it will. I think it will. I think there's going to be a little bit different red tape in terms of how the commander swap works and which commanders you can swap. But I do think it's going to be the same event. I do think you're going to get 2 swaps in an Old Kingdom or a New Kingdom. It really doesn't matter. But it also does matter how you play in the early game now. Because if you invest a bunch of universal sculptures in someone like Julius Caesar, and then you decide, hey, you know what, Scipio just came out, I'm just going to swap him out, you can do that now. And it's actually going to be much easier for you to have the early game meta marches, which I can link my video on the top right side of the screen for you, which talks all about that. And then, as you move into Season 2, you can start getting these great commanders, which I'm super pumped about. I think this is going to be really viable. I think it's a huge addition to the game. And I think it's nice to see Lilith taking care of some of the older players who have been in this for a while and really need these resets. Now, there are a couple things that I really want to clarify here. At a certain cost, and with some exceptions. So, at a certain cost. The other YouTuber, I'll just say it, Omniarch suggested that at a certain cost was probably going to be the first one is free, and the second one is either going to cost gems or money. I think that's probably a pretty good assessment. Based upon the cost that we see in-game for things today, I'm guessing that it'll be about 10,000 gems. And this is founded really on one thing. Pretty much the most expensive thing that you can get in game today that is remotely close is actually going to be the civilization swap. And if you go to have a civilization swap, I believe it's about 10,000 gems. And it's pretty expensive, but I think that for 10,000 gems, which is really the equivalent of 10 gold heads if you use 1 gold head per 1,000 gems, I think that's worth it. I think that's totally worth it. I don't think 50,000 gems is realistic. Lilith does not charge anyone anything for that. And that would make it really expensive if we're talking about going ahead and buying gems. So I expect it'll probably be about 10,000 gems. So save up. Now, in terms of the exceptions, I do think that this is pretty straightforward. You're not going to be able to refund Ethelfled. You're not going to be able to refund Mina. You're not going to be able to refund Hannibal. Now, there are some other things. I have a sneaking suspicion that you will not be able to swap for the commanders that are just released that have not been added to Tavern or Dailies yet. That's my suspicion. Because otherwise, why would you not swap for the newest commanders? Although we all watched my stream on the new Siege commanders coming out. But I think that's going to be the catch. And come January, maybe they'll actually update the Tavern with some commanders that we actually want. That would be pretty cool. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that you are not going to be able to get commanders that are not in the Tavern yet. And that is just my suspicion because they want to make these commanders more accessible. And there are also a lot of good commanders in the Tavern and in Dailies, right? But there are certain ones that you're not going to be able to get. So if we go through, I think they're just about the same. If we take a look at who's in the Tavern and who is not, they should be pretty close. So let's take a look here. Let's go in. Let's go over here. And here are the commanders that are going to be available to us today. You've got Jan, Heraclius, YSS, Harold, all of these great commanders. But you'll notice that there are a couple commanders that are missing here. William Wallace, not in Tavern yet. Philip, not going to be in Tavern. So some of these new commanders that are just being released probably won't be able to be swapped for, which, to be honest, I think is okay. I think the most recent generation of commanders is pretty good, but they may not be meta long term. So swapping them, probably not that big of a deal anyways. I also think that we have to remember the goal of this. It's to equalize how everyone else plays. Realistically, if you've been in this game for long enough, you're probably saving up gold heads for the next big commander that's coming out. But what you really want to refund are the commanders that you've invested in a long time ago. Leonidas, I'm looking at you. A lot of people invested in him. He's not viable in the late game. Call me out in the comment section if you disagree. But he's not. But there are commanders that are in the Tavern that are going to be viable. Let's say you've wanted to try out engineering. You can go for Margaret. Or let's say that you're running archers and you want someone like Henry in your march. You can do that too. I think there are good commanders in here. You also have Scipio. If you haven't maxed Scipio yet, you probably should. This is a great opportunity to swap for him. You've also got Zhuge Liang or Joan of Arc. I think those are the commanders that we're probably going to be able to swap for. And honestly, I think those are probably the commanders you should be able to swap for. Now, I do think there's an interesting opportunity here. If you don't have a garrison march today, and you are looking for something for your city, you can get Heraclius and YSS from this potential swap. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I really would like to trade my Gilgamesh for, I don't know, say a max William Wallace. But realistically, the thing you have to remember here is you're not getting a refund. So if you have 5552 William Wallace like me, you're probably just making that other commander 5552, which is fine, but not ideal, right? I would much rather have just a full refund that I can then use on someone like Ragnar. But it's not a bad deal. I hope that I can use my swap for someone like Ragnar or for someone like William Wallace, and I can get rid of my Flavius or I can get rid of my Boudica because these are not commanders I'm going to be using actively anymore. But we'll have to see. I'm very excited about this event. I think that we needed it, and I think it's going to be really important for early game players to go ahead and start investing in, Martell early game or invest in Pyrrhus early game. Now, I do think it's going to be interesting in terms of how this all shakes out because this is going to make it so a lot of people in the early game have the meta marches. And then, as soon as something else becomes available, you're going to want to upgrade to that. What this also means is you're going to want to be very, very careful. What do I mean by that? It's a swap. So you probably want to save up enough gold heads and not invest in the new commander beyond the original summon, right? Because if you're swapping, presumably you're not going to be investing in the commander anymore. So like, for example, here, I have my Ragnar at 5552. Now, I did this for the 200 event, but realistically, this is 200 gold heads that I could, in theory, have thrown in the trash can because I'm swapping and giving those to someone else. So what this means is if you're in early game and you get this swap, do not go beyond the initial unlock for the commanders like Scipio or Zhuge Liang that you're going to want to be getting. That is the crux of this when we talk about a swap versus a refund. Now, I am excited about this because it does look like it is coming in January. So January of 2025, this could coincide with a new commander release. I mean, we just got leadership, we just got engineering. I hope Lilith slows down. But I do expect that this will probably be an event that comes like, I don't know, third week of January or something. Track it in the comment section below. Come back here after this launches and we'll see if I'm right. But I think it'll probably come like third week of January. And I think it'll be a bigger event. It won't just be this particular thing. Maybe it'll be a 7K gem event or something like that. We haven't had those in a while. But I am super excited. I think this is a great value add to the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think that this is going to work out exactly how I said? What do you think the cost is going to be? And are you excited about this? I know I am. I've been waiting for this for the last 4 years. And let me know who you think I should be refunding, because I'm thinking Gilgamesh needs to go. Thank you all. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I hope that this has been helpful. If you haven't already, do hit that subscribe button right over there, bottom right-hand corner. Drop a like on the video so it gets shared out to others. Thank you all. Shappy out.